Welcome back to the SimZone, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the penultimate round of the Friday Trackday Championship, and we're currently 5 minutes into this qualifying session at Mount Panorama this time, and it's currently Fisher on provisional pole, 159.767 with Savini just a tenth off. But Savini coming down into Skyline, down towards the Dipper as well, is 2/10 up currently. But looks like he's lost a bit on the exit through Forest's Elbow now, on towards the Conrod Straight. Now, the Conrod Straight, very, very long straight here, almost 2 kilometers in length, so plenty of time and space for the drivers to get up to speed and go for some good overtakes here, down towards the Chase as well, where we'll see quite a few overtakes going on. Heavy braking zone, as we know, but I think that's one of the best overtaking opportunities here at Mount Panorama. Savini's going to round the final corner. Doesn't look like he is up on his time, but he's definitely got some more in it. I'm sure he's not going to back down. He's going to go for this pole position here at Mount Panorama. But before we go any further, let's take a quick look at the standings. So coming into this round, it is actually Savini leading the championship on 515 points, followed by Fisher on 487, Ivanov on 454 in third, Civolotti in fourth on 441, Thomas in fifth on 437, Demori in sixth on 430, Pagano in seventh on 418, Vining in 8th on 375, ahead of Fistrol in P9 on 357, Sealy then rounding off the top 10 on 348. And let's read the last few as well. Magazi P11, I believe, isn't here today, on 342 points. Vitbit there, also not able to attend today, on 333. Fornes, I believe, isn't here either, on 312 points down in P13. And Den in 14th place on 274. Now Den did change cars, did receive a penalty for doing so, but he is still further up the field in the championship. Now Savini's still on a lap here, is a 10th up, but it's still not enough. It's not purple yet, so it's not enough to go pole position just yet. He needs to find just a few hundredths in this lap, maybe later on the brakes into the final corner, or earlier on the power into one of these corners here. Up towards the final corner now goes Savini. What can he do? He's purple now, but on the exit, can he hold it? It looks like he will be able to. And is it going to be pole? No, it's not. It's 100ths separating Fisher and Savini. So close. And looks like Thomas now 2/10 up on this lap. I believe that one was one of the Apex Ferrari drivers. Just moving out the way there for Thomas, who is a whole 3/10 up, 4/10 up. We know the Merc is a very quick car at Bathurst. Oops, there goes my phone. The Merc is a very quick car at Bathurst, and he's going to round the final corner, but he's lost some time in that final sector, through the final few corners. But he jumps up there to P3 and ahead of Demori, who's sat in the pits currently. TractionDave in P5, just 7/10 off of the provisional pole time. Dave, as we know, enjoying the new McLaren. It's a much better car in terms of BOP as well than the old one. And Vining approaching the final corner, over half a second up. He could actually put it into P4 possibly. Let's see what is it going to be for Vining. P5, so close there to P4, but there we go. He pulls towards the side of the track and returns to garage. Now Pagano is going to cross the line. No improvement there for him, but he's going to start a lap. Kaufman down in P15, 8/10 up. He is approaching the final corner now, but he's a whole 4.4 seconds off of that provisional pole time. So lots of time here to find for Kaufman. Bathurst is such a difficult track to find time. Try and push the car a bit too much, you've got the walls either side of you, and that can easily not only end your lap, but Oh, you could be sat in the pits if it's in the race for a while due to damage repairs, but here in qualifying it doesn't matter too much. But with the lap times being on average about a 2-minute 2:01, it does take a long time to get around the circuit. You have to do your out lap to get your tyres up to temperature as well, and that costs time here with only 5 minutes left in this qualifying session to go. Mistakes can't be made here for the drivers, and it looks like Cortin pulls over to the side of the track. Now Savini's just started the lap. Let's get on board here of Savini, exiting turn 1 using all the exit curve available. Now down this this mountain straight, I believe it is, up towards turn 2. Turn 2 is quite a tricky corner at Bathurst. We've got a few comments coming in which we'll read in just a moment. You can see there a bit of oversteer for Savini, getting the rear out, finding that limit. The mixture between oversteer and understeer, but he's clipped the wall there. Coming up towards the left-hander, up the hill we go now. A bit of a shame there for Savini. I think that's definitely lost him some time. It did unsettle the car ever so slightly going into the braking zone, but we've got a second camera view there through Skyline. You can see how steep this corner is, and we'll see Savini, one of the cars just cutting Skyline there, but we can see Savini now coming down through Skyline. There we go, and he is absolutely on the limit here. Still not up or down this time, so fairly even. He might be flashing green and red on his Delta currently, and I believe Fisher is doing the same. So they are very, very close in this quali session. They just need 100, or Savini just needs 100 to beat Fisher here. That's absolutely nothing, and that could just be getting on the throttle a fraction of a second earlier, or on the brakes a fraction of a second later. And for Savini, looks like he's gone purple so far, but coming up towards the final corner now, he did seem to get a bit of oversteer. No, he's backed out, so not confident that he will improve, but he's got a couple more chances to do so. And where is Fisher? Still on a lap, but no improvement for him just yet. Ivanov now going up towards Skyline. Big bit of oversteer there. Luckily he hasn't lost too much time and kept it out of the barriers, but that's Van den Heuvel pulled towards the side of the track then. I believe he may return the car to the pits. Yes, he does. Down in P15 is Van den Heuvel currently, but Ivanov still 2 tenths up. This could see him in P4, possibly on the second row for this qualifying session. And clips the wall once again on the exit of Forest Elbow, and that's probably gonna hurt him all the way down the straight. It looks like he's still 2 tenths up. What can Ivanov do? So we're now approaching the chase. Like we said earlier, heavy braking zone. And Savini, where is he? He's a 10th up currently. This could be a good sign for Savini. Just need to make it around the track, but we're currently focused on Ivanov. He's approaching the final corner now, and I believe it will be... Oh, he's found another 10th here in the braking zone, but I believe it will be around P3 maybe. No, P4 there for Ivanov. So close. 3 thousandths separating Thomas and Ivanov. P3 and P4, that's all it is between those two drivers, and that is absolutely nothing. Now Savini still on a lap here. Just got one more sector to go. He can keep it together. This could be it for Savini, but Fisher has actually improved the 159.632, and he puts nearly a tenth and a half to Savini here, but Savini is a 10th up. He needs to find a bit more here. 2 tenths up now is Savini, but Fisher also 2 tenths up. So these drivers consistently improving, and that could be due to the track getting rubbered in as we approach the end of the quali session. It is only a fast track, but Savini's going to cross the line, and it's not even pole there for Savini. Not provisional pole, but he's got one more chance here. And where is Fisher? Coming down the Conrad straight, a 10th up here, so he could extend or open up that gap even more in this qualifying session to Savini. This is what he needs to be able to have a chance of taking the win in this championship. If you can get back-to-back wins in this round, the penultimate round, and the last round, he could have a good chance here of being very, very close to Savini, but he's going to cross the line there, almost 3/10 quicker than Savini as Fisher. He's on a roll here, he's on a charge, and he is going to go for another lap, a 10th up, exiting the first corner as well, so he's got more in it as the track starts to improve, and Savini currently not up on his time. Let's look down towards Civolotti, 2/10 up currently. He is P10, looking to get within that second to our provisional pole sitter Fisher. Civolotti has the pace to do so. He's 3/10 up, 4/10 up now. He could be looking to gain quite a few positions in this qualifying session. If it's 4/10 up, he could find himself up towards P6. That'll be 4 positions gained here, and it's 6/10 up now for Civolotti as he goes onto the Conrad straight. This could be a brilliant lap here from the Apex Racing Team driver. Could possibly see him in around. Oh, it looks like he's lost a bit more time, but it could have possibly seen him around P4 or P5, but let's see what he can do in these last few corners. Fisher's 2/10 up. Still got about 40 seconds of the lap to go, does Fisher, but Civolotti half a second up, approaching the final corner here. Oh, this is going to see him. I believe it's going to be P5. Yes, P5 as Civolotti crosses the line, and that is his qualifying session over. Fisher still 2/10 up. Savini crosses the line there. No improvement. Oh no, sorry, he did improve, but it wasn't enough, and it's once again exactly a 100th between Fisher and Savini, but I think that's going to be short-lived with Fisher approaching the last corner. He's 2/10 up, and wow, that's quite a coincidence. A 10th, sorry, not a 10th, I keep saying a 10th, but a 100th, and oh, Fisher, no, is he invalidated? I don't think he has. Luckily, just within track limits, but he was pushing there, and there we go, 159.2 for Fisher. Savini in P2, 159.4, and Thomas in P3. We'll be back in just a moment for the start of the race, so make sure to stick with us. So we've got the drivers lining up on the grid now. Apologies for the track noise in the background. Yeah, drivers lining up on the grid, and as we saw, Fisher taking pole position in qualifying, so starting on the front row here in P1, Savini in P2, Demori in P3, Thomas in P4 as well. So those are your top 2 rows. Now let's get a quick look at the track we're racing at here, Mount Panorama, Bathurst. It is a very, very long track, one of the longest tracks on the calendar, or the longest track on the calendar in fact. And approaching turn 1, Hell Corner, brilliant name for it as well. Turn 2 is a very tricky corner, and yes, Jack Crofts, it is a very difficult track, but sector 2 we go up towards the hill and then down towards the hill as we approach Skyline, through the dipper, then Forest Elbow, entering sector 3 down. That's not the hanger straight, so ignore that, but all the way down this long back straight, up towards the chase, and then through the final corner. But here we go, we've got the drivers onto the formation lap now, and we will see all the drivers we have on the grid today. So Fisher starting in P1 there in the 78 BMW, Savini in P2, Nigel Alessi esports team livery, P3, Demori taking P3 actually, so starting quite close, or high up the field with Thomas in P4 in the AMG Mercedes, Ivanov in P5 there, the Civilotti in P6. So the Ferrari is quite spaced out here for the start of this race. Vining in P7 there, Dave just behind him in P8, beautiful livery on that McLaren. Sealy in P9, one of the 2 Lamborghinis on the grid today. Pagano in P10, the other Apex Racing team driver on the grid. Den P11, Fisterol in P12. It's quite a few Apex Racing team drivers as well. Racenor in P13, Cosford in P14. His teammate not able to attend today. Van den Heuvel P15, and to round off the grid we've got Kaufman down in P16. Now we've got a few more comments coming in. Let's have a read of what's going on. So we've got Phil in the comments, good evening to you, Jan as well, and Simo. Jack, good to see you. Van den Heuvel saying it is a hard track, probably going to bin it on the warm-up lap. No, I don't think you have just yet. And we've got the Drackraft saying, hang on straight, does it think we're at Silverstone? I'm not actually sure if it's another name for the Conrad Straight, but yeah, I think that is possibly a mistake. Jackcroft saying, is it a 1 hour race? Is it a team race or solo? It is a solo championship here, no teams in this one. But of course, drivers entering from different esports teams will have their quote-unquote teammates, drivers who they are, well, drivers will have their friends or you could say, I would have said colleagues, but they'd be part of the same team. Of course, we have a few RKM drivers. We've got Fisher from West Competition Racing. We've got Savini from John Alessi Esports as well. So plenty of drivers from different esports teams taking part in this championship. But we're lining up side by side now, approaching the final corner. Who will stay ahead into turn 1? Not even turn 1, but turn 2. We've got a long straight down towards turn 2 as well. Will Savini be able to use the Porsche to his advantage off the start? We know the Porsche's got great acceleration. The BMW might struggle down the straights here. We'll have to wait and see. as we round the final corner now. We should be green any moment here for round 7 of the Trackday Championship, and we are green. Fisher off to a good start. He pulls towards the middle of the track but can't quite move over there. Savini moves over to the outside, just allowing some more space for himself to open up the corner a bit, and looks like Fisher holds on, but he's got to go defensive now. Savini's got the slipstream and a good run coming up towards turn 2. This is quite a difficult corner, as we mentioned in qualifying. Very difficult to be side by side through here as well. And is that Demori looking for a move? No, it's not. I think it was Ivanov looking for a move on Thomas, but no position gains there for him just yet. Now the top 6, no position losses or gains for either of them, but we've got a few further down the field, and it looks like we've got Van den Heuvel gaining position on Den, so Den down into P15 now, dropping a position there. Van den Heuvel up into P14. Let's go back towards the top 2, because these two are fighting for the championship, and very similar lap times in qualifying as well, which I'm sure will transfer over to the race as well. Here we go. Let's have a look what else is going on throughout the field. Oh, who is that hitting the wall? That looked to be Demori, I think, who tagged the wall there. And we're going to see, probably going to see a lot of that in this race at Bathurst. The driver's going to be pushing to the limit. Not so much at the start of the race, but once nerves settle down, I think they'll be in a bit of a better flow. I'm not hitting the walls as much, but towards the end of the race, or if they're trying to catch up to someone, you'll see the drivers pushing even harder. And Demori with a slight mistake there. It's going to set himself up pretty badly for the final corner. Thomas looking towards the outside now, but he backs out of the move. Lets Demori have the corner. Doesn't want to be wasting time battling too early on, because look who's behind him. That is Ivanov, right on his tail here, right on his rear bumper. And he's going to look for a move up towards turn 1. No, he doesn't. Focuses on the exit, and once again a bit of a bad exit there for Demori, and I think Thomas with the AMG straight line speed here is going to have a good advantage going down this straight. But look how close behind him is Ivanov, really close here. We have to go on board with Ivanov now as he pulls out to the slipstream. Surely he's not going to go for this move. No, he backs out of it. That puts Thomas under a lot of pressure there, but Thomas obviously knows that Ivanov had no chance of going for that move, so took the normal racing line, and opening up this left-hander up as we go up mountain now, a bit more than Ivanov did. You can see how close they have to get to the barriers here. The closer you are, the quicker you can go. Bit of oversteer there, maybe the suspension decompressing on the exit. Down through Skyline now. We've still got the top 2 very close here. Not as close as I thought. Fisher's actually pulling away from Savini as we speak. 9/10 is the gap between the top 2. So it may not be that close of a race between the top 2 as we thought, but it's still Demori P3, Thomas P4, Ivanov P5, Civolotti P6. Look at this amazing battle we've got going on. The Dave's involved in this, and we've got 3 more cars behind that, Vining, Pagano and Seeley. This could be one of the biggest battles we've had this season. And that's how many cars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars all battling in a train here. Dave with a bad exit there. We saw the same mistake from Demori, and looks like Vining's going to get the move done up towards the final corner, but Pagano not able to follow him through. So Dave losing 1 position there to Vining. But pending off Pagano, who looks towards the inside of turn 1. Thinks better of it, but Dave once again with a bad exit picks up the grass on the dirt as well, and that's going to really hinder him on the straight. And there we go, that's Pagano passed already. Can Seeley now look at getting past Dave as well? It doesn't look like he's close enough. He's not going to go for a move here into turn 2. And through this mountain section, it's pretty much all single file, not really any space overtakes here. Now your best bet is to wait for the driver in front to make a mistake, and we've already seen drivers making mistakes here, and it's only 5 minutes into this race, so we'll probably see many more. See, dips a wheel onto the grass there, doesn't want to be doing that through this fast section of the mountain. Let's look at the battle for P13, which continues to go on. That's between Den and Racing there. Den fighting for P13 now. He lost the position off the start to Van den Heuvel, and Van den Heuvel's dropped right down to P16, so he's had some sort of accident that's happened to Van den Heuvel, maybe hitting the barriers a bit too hard. He did say he thought he'd been it on the formation lap, but I think he may have made a mistake on track in the race. Looks to be a move, Civilotti side by side there with Ivanov, and they're allowing Thomas to pull away now. Thomas has now got a 2-second gap to Ivanov. Ivanov not going defensive, coming up towards the final corner, but Civilotti really putting on the pressure here to Ivanov in P5, and now this is backing up the pack even more. But it looks like Demore and Thomas pulling away from these 6 drivers behind them, and looks like that is a bit of a bad exit from Ivanov. He's gonna Civilotti's gonna have the slipstream here, pulling towards the outside now. Ivanov's got the inside, but Civilotti's gonna need more of his car ahead of Ivanov if he wants to make a move around the outside here, and I think he has a decent chance, but no, bit of contact between the two there, bit of door rubbing, wheel to wheel action, and looks like Civilotti's gonna maybe be side by side here with his teammate, but he's gonna have the inside coming out towards the left-hander, and they will have to brake early to avoid any contact there. Van der Heuvel now into the pits, so it's possibly damage there for Van den Heuvel, maybe even a penalty for him. No, it is serious damage there for Van den Heuvel, so he's obviously made a bit of contact or made a mistake in one of these corners at Bathurst. Could be any one of them in the mountain section. Coming down to Skyline. Look how close these drivers are. This is some brilliant battling. I mean, we've also got Thomas and Demore still very close, but they are pulling away lap after lap from these drivers, and all this contact there. Dave makes contact with Pagano and continues on. It looks like he tried to, I believe he tried to return the position. He may do it down this back straight. Yeah, he does. No, he doesn't actually. Still got to do that. There we go. And he lets Pagano through, but he's dropped right down to 13th. But great sportsmanship there from Dave. It is so easy to lock up going through Frost's elbow, and I think that's probably what happened to Dave there. It's downhill. It's a very steep downhill braking section, and if you brake slightly too late or get on the brakes a bit too hard, or too long even, that can lock up. Well, you can lock up and end up into the car in front. But we go back to the battle P6. Well, now it's P5, 6 and 7. This battle has been broken up apart into multiple different battles, and now the biggest train we've got is down here for P9, 10, 11 and 12 and 13th actually. But Van den Heuvel's still in the pits, I believe. Is he still in for damage repairs? I'm not sure. He may be in. Maybe it's just retired the car now at this point. And Jackcraft saying, I think it's Vining race last time he watched. Yeah, Vining races in a couple of our championships here at the SimZone. Looks like that's Pagano ahead of Fisterol now. Fisterol dropping down the order in P11, although he started P12, so still fairly close to his starting position. And oh, that is a huge accident there. That is Cosford, I believe, getting onto the curb, and that was for him from the right hand side of the track all the way to the left hand side of the track, and that is huge damage now for Cosford, I believe, in P13. That is severe damage. I think he's got some suspension damage as well now. and that is a massive shame there for him. He's going to have to limp back towards the pits, down into P15, and Van Hoover back out on track, which is good to see. He may be able to pick up a position off of Cosford. That's not what he wants at all. And let's go back to the race leader, Fisher, who is pulling away lap after lap here from Savini. The fastest lap of the race there from Fisher, 1:59.822, and in fact that last lap from Fisher, 1:59.885, so only 500 slower than his best lap of the race. So really lapping consistently here is Fisher. But that last time around for Savini, he was 4/10 slower. So in race trim, the Porsche not as quick as the BMW, and for Savini, he just needs to hold on. Consistency is going to be key. Maybe he's saving his tyres in this first stint. Now with the track temps not too high, I wouldn't suspect they need to save their tyres too much, but as we know, Bathurst can be a tyre killer at times. But looking down towards P4 and P3, Demori and Thomas once again very close to each other as we go up towards the mountain section. Let's go on board here with Thomas. See how close Demori gets to those walls. He is leaving no room for error whatsoever. And we saw Cosford make a mistake before. It could happen to absolutely anyone here on the grid. Thomas losing a bit of time going down the mountain. See there, maybe a bit too early, or too late on the brake, sorry. The front just did not want to turn on that Mercedes, but he's lost a whole second, or slightly less, in that second sector through that mountain section. That seemed to be where the Ferrari excels, or was that just a mistake from Thomas? I think it may have been. But we go down to this battle. Looks like Civilotti's just got past Vining. No, Civilotti looks like he overshot the corner, and Vining's going to get back past. Can Seeley make anything of it? No, he can't. Still sitting behind, but he's caught right up here, has Seeley. And that looks like Civilotti's going to have to go defensive coming up towards turn one. Seeley looking for a move down the inside. Bit of a dummy there from Seeley. It's forced Civilotti to go a bit deep into the corner, and Seeley's got a good exit now. No, I think it ran slightly too wide there. Traction control kicking in a bit, and Civilotti with a bit of a dummy himself there, forcing Seeley to move left and right. But nowhere to go here for Seeley. Looks towards the inside. He's going to have to back out this move. He sticks his nose down the inside and there's contact. No, Seeley. There is nowhere for him to go there. And he's made contact. That's Civilotti now dropping down the order. But there was absolutely no space there for Seeley. Way too ambitious. And that's now Civilotti down in P13. He's picked up some front end damage as a result. Looks like he made a bit of contact with Barry R as well. Seeley's going to be taken to the stewards after the race after that move. I'm sure Civilotti's not going to take kindly of it. But we look down towards P11. Dave on the back of Den and Fisterol now. On board with the McLaren here as they go through the dipper down towards Forest Elbow. Now this is where we saw Dave make a bit of contact earlier on. He's taking a bit easier now into first gear. Very close to the wall, very close to the barriers, and huge amounts of oversteer for the McLaren driver. A bit too eager on the power. Definitely don't want to be doing that in first gear. But he hasn't lost too much time, luckily for him, to Den or Fisterol. On the brakes, heavy braking zone there for the chase, and he's caught right up once again. Dave, as we know, is currently out of position, so on paper he shouldn't really have much troubles passing these drivers, but in that mountain section there is not much space for overtaking. It's just sector one is where he really needs to get the moves done into turn one. He's not going to have any room there. That short shift into no, it wasn't a short shift actually. seem like just the traction control kicking in. Look at the run he's got now. He's got the slipstream. He's pulling closer and closer. Waits at the last second to put out the slipstream here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Surely it's not. Oh, he's going to be later in the brakes, and actually he's going to get the move done. So up to P10 goes Dave, and now his next target, Fisterol, in P9. The top two, Fisher, Savini, still separated 4 seconds, and Savini not in the 59s yet at all in this race. Still lapping in the low 2-minute mark. So seems to be struggling for pace. Maybe with the higher fuel loads. It's like we said, the Porsche does in race trim still doesn't seem to be as good as the BMW here at Mount Panorama. Back down to Dave, who's already caught up to actually no, sorry, Dave's made a mistake. But Den's right at the back of him now, and they've lost heaps of time there to Fisterol, almost 2 seconds now to Fisterol. Then charging back, trying to get this position back off of Dave here. Down the straight, seems like Dave pulls away, possibly a better exit through Forest's elbow. And late on the brakes there from both these two. The gap remains fairly the same, half a second between P10 and P11. They haven't really gained much on Fisterol either. Let's go up towards Pagano. He seems to be closing in on Seeley, although that last time around he was a tenth slower. The gap still staying at a second between these two. And you can see in the background that's Fisterol, Dave, and Den now in the picture. But we've got 3 minutes till the pit window opens. Who will we see pitting early? Now Cosford, I believe, has retired the car. I think that's it for him, unfortunately. I wouldn't be surprised. You have to limp back towards the pits. I actually don't think he... I think he may have returned to garage, so that would have been even more time lost for him. But maybe he can go back out to pick up some points, even if that means being lapped by some of the field. In fact, I think they've already passed him a couple times by this point. But that was a huge collision, and I think we'll get a replay of that later on throughout this race. And Dave now on the back of Fisterol. No, what's happened? Dave has lost the car, and he's now picked up some heavy damage on the front of that McLaren. Surely he's going to have to... yeah, look at that. It looks to be suspension damage as well. And now he's going to have to limp back towards the pits. I think it's going to have to be an early pit stop here for Dave. What happened there to TractionDave? He's made quite a few errors into the end of Sector 3. And you can see they're just crawling back towards the pits, but what on earth happened there to Dave? Was it contact, or did he just lose it by himself? Let's take a quick look in just a moment. It looks like now that's Civilotti on the back of Racing Horse. Civilotti making his way back through the field. And oh, Dave looks like he lost it himself. Huge incident there for him. And here we go. Get a replay up just as we see a move here going between Civilotti and Racing Horse. Civilotti trying around the outside, but isn't able to do it. Now Dave here, you can see a bit of oversteer now coming down towards the dipper, and just loses the car, goes straight on. Almost as if, well, the car completely disregarded that left-hander. And that was it for him. You can see they're hitting the wall a couple more times, unable to get the car turned in. But Civilotti struggling to get past Racing Horn now, and looks like Cosford, yep, has retired the car from the race, so he isn't going back out on track. And that was pretty much race-ending damage there for him, and it could be race-ending damage for Dave as well. But I believe he's limped back towards the pits, and he might, or he could have waited a bit, actually, to enter the pits. Is he in at the moment? He's not. I think he's waiting. He's waiting a few seconds, or is he in? No, I think he is in. I'm not actually sure. Nope, he's not in. So there we go. Now he's in the pit lane. So smart decision there for Dave to wait till the pit window opened, just so he didn't have to serve an extra pit stop. And looking back down towards Civilotti here on the back of Racing Horse, still unable to get past. I'm sure that damage is proving quite difficult for him. And oh, bit late on the brakes there from Civilotti, overshoots the corner, and surely he's going to have to return that position to Racing Horse. Racing Horse not happy with that one, and in fact, yes, he does. So good sportsmanship there from Civilotti, lovely to see, and he knows he made a bit of a mistake. Late on the brakes, it was an ambitious move, it was a good attempt, but just a bit too much speed carried through there through the corner for Civilotti. Now let's also have a look at where Cosford lost the car. We know he lost it coming up towards Skyline, but was it because he dipped the wheel onto the curb? And I believe that's what it was, but we'll get an onboard of him just to see what he experienced in that corner. How Civilotti is getting the rear end out ever so slightly to help with the rotation. Some heavy splitter damage there for Civilotti through these twisty sections of the track. You can see he's struggling. He's fighting the car to get it turned in here. Down through Forrest's elbow. Even then, struggling to get the car turned in. And no, it wasn't actually the curb for Cosford that caused the incident. It was a bump in the road, so maybe something to do with the setup. You can see here the car bounces. Oh, he took the curb. He took the curb there, and that was it for Cosford. Nothing he could do there. He was a passenger when the car stepped out on him, and that was it for him. See there, almost, well, it is 90 degrees to the right. And here we go, Civilotti now into the pits for his mandatory stop. What else have we got going out on the track? Drivers separated a bit here, and DeMori has been able to keep putting away lap after lap to Thomas. That last lap from Thomas, a 2:01.6, so over a second slower than DeMori. Bit of a mistake that last lap from Thomas. You can see Dave still continuing here. But Thomas has got to try and put in some quicker laps here to close that gap up to DeMori, but could all be lost in the pit stops. And yeah, Thomas has got some splitter damage, so he's hit the wall somewhere on the track, and that doesn't seem to bode well for him, with still 36 minutes left of the race to go. That's a lot of time here. Where we see him pit early, he's in pretty much clean air at the moment. I think he really needs to, but if he finds he's losing time with that splitter damage, the best thing for him would be to pit early here in this race. And, well, minimize the time he's going to lose. If he doesn't repair it, no, he's going to stay out. So, doesn't seem to be too much damage there for Thomas. Possibly thinks he can lap decent pace, but no, it's still 3/10 slower than DeMori. So I think Thomas may be thinking about pitting now. Possibly this lap or the next. We'll have a look where he picked up that damage. We go back to our race leader, Fisher, 6.5 seconds ahead of Savini. This is pretty much the first time I think that we've seen Savini not able to keep up with the race leader, and most of the time Savini being the race leader, so he is struggling here at Mount Panorama. The BMW, a very quick car here, and Fischer, see, he's just so in tune with the car and this track. He's in the zone at the moment. He's going to continuously extend that gap to Savini. Demori not far from Savini either. Neither Savini or Demori, as we said earlier, have been able to enter the 159s. But Demori, that last lap, 3/10 slower than Savini. Demori even has a good chance of P2 here. Still lots of time in the race left for drivers to make mistakes. And remember to hit that like button on the stream. For those that are watching. Right, looking at Vining, that's Thomas into the pits now, so he has pulled the trigger quite early here. Possibly the best thing to do. Even Civolotti has pulled the trigger early, so the drivers with damage hitting early to minimize their time lost. Sealy now into the pits for his mandatory stop, but Vining seems to be about 3 seconds, 3.3 seconds off of Ivanov. They're lapping very similar times at the moment. To a 2-minute 0.8 from Ivanov that last time around, and a 2-minute 0.9 from Vining, and Vining can see Ivanov just up ahead of him, about a corner ahead. And he's going to be eager to try and close that distance now as we approach the halfway mark of the race, and Fischer continuously pulling away lap after lap there. He was only a 10th off his best lap of the race. Fischer that last time round of 159.7. That's what, 0.6 quicker than Savini just that last lap alone. We may even see Savini starting to think about pitting very shortly. Where is he on the track? Coming down the Conrad Straight now, up towards the chase. I wonder if it's to do with tyre wear, or he's just unable to keep the pace of the leader here. There we go, yep, Savini into the pits. So, could be tyre wear. It could be tyre pressures. It could be the whole lot, really, that Savini is struggling with. But Fischer, clean air, doesn't need to pit early. But it seems to be approaching some traffic, and I hear a McLaren. I believe that's either Dave or there. It's Dave. Okay. Well, it's either one of the two McLarens. But it is Dave he's catching up to. He does not want to catch a backmarker through the mountain section because it's so dangerous for them to let the lead cars through, and that's where the most time will be lost for the leaders. He's through this narrow mountain section here at Bathurst. So Fischer needs to time his pit stop right. Ideally when most of the other drivers are starting to starting to pit, because then all he has to worry about is pit lane traffic, which, well, I don't even think he has to worry about that. That's not a problem on ACC. But it also depends on how much fuel Fischer has left in the tank at the moment for his first stint. The driver's usually going to be filling up around half and half. Jack Croft saying he comes back and Dave is last. Yeah, he had a huge incident. There we go, Fisher now into the pits. But yeah, he had a well, no fault of anyone else, but he lost the car on his own. And it was going through the dipper, I believe. And well, huge oversteer for Dave. He pretty much went head on into the barriers. And that was it for him. He managed to limp back to the pits and waited for the pit window to open. But he is now a lap down due to those damage repairs. There we go, Fisher, Ivanov and Vining now into the pits as well. Kaufman's still yet to pit, interestingly. Has Kaufman made a mistake with his pit stops? No, I don't think he has. He was previously battling towards the back of the field, so I think he might be okay here. Seeley has now served his mandatory stop. He is 6 seconds behind Civilotti. So even Seeley has made an error, I think, in the pit stops. We will bring up the pit stop times once everyone has served their pit stops. But Kaufman, they're just running onto the grass on the exit of the final corner ever so slightly. And Fisher now out on the circuit. Where is Savini? Over nearly 10 seconds back, that is, to Fisher. So he's lost even more time in the pit stops. And well, for Savini, there isn't much he can do here apart from hope for a mistake from Fisher, which we haven't seen at all so far. Now the gap in the championship between the two is well, Savini on 515, Fisher on 487. Now, taking a look at the point system as well, P1 is 105 points, P2 99 points, so only a 6-point difference there between P1 and P2. Well, that's not going to be enough for Fisher if Savini finishes in P2 in both this round and the last round. Fisher really needs Savini to either have a bad result or not attend next round, but I don't think Savini is going to miss around anymore. Yeah, 28 points difference, I believe it is, between P1 and P2 in this championship. So Fisher needs a lot more here. And really, I think his best bet is for something to go wrong here for Savini at Bathurst. But I don't think Savini is really going to be pushing the car at this point in the race. He knows that Fisher is a lot quicker at the moment. Savini's just going to try and keep it out of the barriers. We've got Kaufman being overtaken, I believe, by Ivanov. Kaufman still yet to pit, so leaving it very, very late. Likewise is Reisenhoff. Only 6 minutes left of the pit window to go, and oh, that's where we saw a few drivers make mistakes earlier on. Reisenhoff luckily keeping the car pointing in the right direction. Look how close he is to the barriers there. But I don't think Reisenhoff's had too many mishaps this race. But at the moment, lapping on his own in a bit of clean air. But could that change when he pits. I think it definitely will. Looking down towards Thomas now, he has repaired that damage, but he's lost so much time. He's now behind Vining, and these two are going to be battling for position. Kaufman just up ahead of them is on a different strategy, and I think he may pit this lap. It'd be risky to leave it any later. Racing on now into the pits for his mandatory stop. Is Kaufman going to do the same? That is the question. He's got two of the lead cars approaching him, and oh, he's made a huge mistake there. Vining almost doing the same, but the Mercedes handling the curb a bit better, and I think it could be a sign for Kaufman to enter the pits. And yes, there we go, into the pits he goes. Thomas now left out to battle with Vining, both these drivers from RKM. So I don't think there'll be any team orders between the two. It'll be complete battling out on track, and Thomas is going to want to try and get past Vining here as soon as possible. But Racing, where is he going to come out on track? Pagano is going to pass them, Den's going to pass them, Fisterol is going to pass them as well. So could Civilotti be, no, Civilotti's going to pass them. Actually, Racing out of the pits, and it's going to be close here between Civilotti and Racing. Civilotti hasn't repaired his damage in the pits, so Racing has got someone to deal with now. And Sealy all the way down in P12, so he has made a massive error somewhere, possibly in the pit stops. But oh, Kaufman still in the pits here, so has he picked up some damage? No, he's got going now, but I'm not sure if he's served his pit stop correctly. Nope, he has. There we go. So out of the pits, but not really near anyone. He's in no man's land at the moment, is Kaufman. And Pagano, I believe we had some yellow flags there for Pagano. Seems to be alright at the moment. So let's have a look at the pit stop times now. Vasily, 83 seconds in the pits. That's a lot of time in the pit stops. And I mean, compare that to Dave. Maybe Silly picked up some damage that we didn't see on his in lap. But compared to Dave, who had some severe damage, about 30 seconds off. So I think Silly may have picked up some damage that we didn't see. And Thomas as well, over 10 seconds slower in the pits than Vining, so he did have quite a bit of damage there on the front end. Go on board with Thomas on the right hand side, and we've got the rear view wing cam there from Vining on the left, and looks like Civilotti is actually catching up to Racing now. We saw him struggling to get past Racing before the pit stops, but he's stuck behind him once again, so Racing keeping it out for long on a different strategy that's actually been able to keep him ahead of Civilotti. And actually, let's take a quick look at these two. Very, very close as we approach Skyline there. Bit of grass being taken on entry, and Civilotti having to go straight over. Now that exit, that runoff is so bumpy, so aggressive, and Civilotti paid the price of taking it. Got the rear end out, but that could have ended up much worse there for him. But he's going to be picking up a bit more damage on the front, which is all his damage, which is where he's got all his damage in the first place. Now it's going to make it even more difficult for him to get past Racing. Jackcroft saying on a scale from 1 to esports, how quick is Fisher? He is an esports driver. Most of these drivers are esports drivers competing in, some of them competing in SRO esports as well. Savini being one of them was at Paul Ricard last week for the, I believe it was a SimPro series. Civilotti now in the slipstream range here to try and help pull him along on the mountain straight. But it's not going to let him get too close. I'm coming towards turn 4. He's inching closer here, corner after corner, and in fact that gap has come right down now, 3/10. Looks like Racing Hall got a poor exit, and look how close he was there to the barriers, almost making contact actually with the barriers. I think he had to take a evasive action, but here's Civilotti through the faster corners. Seems to be struggling a bit more with that damage, and this is where we saw him go straight on last time around. Seems to have it under control now, but losing time through Skyline with the damage, and Thomas within a second to Vining now as well. 7/10 is the gap between those two, and Civilotti losing a bit more time to Racing Hall. So some corners he's able to gain, but with that damage he loses out a lot on the more trickier corners of the circuit. And Fistero only 2.2 seconds off of Den, so that could be another battle that could start heating up very shortly. And Civilotti looking down the inside, going into turn 1. It's not going to phase Racing Hall at the moment. There's nothing that Civilotti can do into turn 1 being that far back. And in fact, catching these two while they're battling is silly as well. Only 3.5 seconds back to these two. He's definitely closing the gap. Let's see what his lap times were compared to Civilotti. So that last time around, Sealy was 1.3 seconds quicker than Civilotti. Sector 1, 2/10 quicker. Sector 2, 8/10 quicker, I believe it is. Yeah, 8/10 quicker. And Sector 3, he was about a couple tenths quicker as well. So really gaining here on these two. Look at the gap now, down to 3 seconds. I'm sure it'll be even less by the time they reach the end of the lap. The gap between Thomas and Vining now has opened up a bit more, back to up towards a second. So Vining is putting his foot down as he's seen Thomas closing up, and he's just managing that gap about a second or just under. He doesn't want to give Thomas that slipstream range, and well, with both of them being in the same car, it's going to be even more difficult for Thomas to get past. You're quicker and slower in pretty much exactly the same places on the track. Well, the car is quicker and slower at exactly the same places on the track. Jackcroft saying he doesn't know any of these esports series. Yeah, they're pretty much the biggest esports series that you can find. So SRO is pretty much the motorsports group that hosts the Fanatec GT World Challenge. But looking now, Civilotti's got a great run. This is where we saw a bit of contact between Civilotti and Seely, I believe it was. But Civilotti with a bit of a dummy, going to try it around the outside. Isn't going to work there for him, and mounts the curb on the inside. Tried to go for a bit of a switchback there, but it didn't work for him. And you can see in the background now, oh, that's Dave, very sideways. But I believe he is a lap down on these drivers. Seely is caught right up now. Under 2 seconds, nearly under a second and a half to Racing Hoorn and Civilotti. It's getting so close, and look at the amount of pressure that Civilotti's putting on Racing Hoorn. They're here glued to the rear bumper, one of the fast sections of the track. Surely it's going to be scary, and he's taking that inside curb where we saw Cosford lose the car. So taking a few risks here to try and keep up in this section to Racing Hoorn. That's where Civilotti loses most of the time due to the damage. It's through Skyline and now down through Forest Elbow. You can see losing a lot of time here. Seely is caught right up, and this is where things get even more interesting here. Jack saying, come on Dave. Yeah, Dave's still a lap down, so he won't be battling. He won't be in this battle. But he could definitely watch the battle that happens ahead of him. Maybe try and unlap himself, but I don't think it's going to be possible with 14 minutes left of the race to go. Civilotti really struggling to get past, and a huge mistake on the exit through the final corner from Racing Hoorn, and that's going to be side by side between these two up towards turn 1, and I think Civilotti's going to move back over to the racing line, and he's got that move done. But Racing Hoorn's going to try and go back at it, and Civilotti looking towards the inside here, making a bit of a last minute move, and there we go, contact between the two, but they are pointing in the right direction, and I think now Seely's going to get past Racing Hoorn here. That was very close between the two. I don't think there was much room given. Either driver didn't give enough room for each other. That could have ended up so much worse, but now Seely in between these two, and it's even more damage for Civilotti and even more damage for Racing Hoorn. And now Seely's got a good chance at getting a top 10 finish here, and looks like Vining and Ivanov's made a mistake. What's happened here to Ivanov? He is down into P6. He's got some damage on the car, so he's lost it, I assume possibly through Forest Elbow or through Skyline. And that's now Vining Thomas through as well. But this is possibly a 3-car battle. Has he got suspension damage? He's driving very slowly at the moment. I can't actually see his wheel, so that doesn't help. Let's see if we can check now. And yes, oh, he's going to have the pit here. Yep. And oh, he's almost sped into the pits. That could have been speeding into the pits as well. And yes, he does have suspension damage. You can see there as well. His steering bent. And that's such a shame there for Ivanov. He's going to drop down the order. Seely right in the back now of Civilotti. What can he do as we approach the final corner? He's way too far back to go for a move. Has a look. Now these two, I believe, made contact earlier on. You can see there, that's Dave in the background now, looking to unlap himself here. But Seely a bit more reserved this time around. Thomas right on the back here of Vining. And time is running out for Thomas to get past. Ivanov is going to drop right down the order here with that damage. Will he go back out on the track is the question, or will he retire the car? We will take a quick replay in just a moment if the battles do settle down a bit, just to see exactly what happened to Ivanov. Jack saying Dave will unlap himself, get back round and overtake everyone and then win. Seely defending by Civilotti. Yeah, there were a few movements there from Civilotti as well. I think if he stuck to the inside line, he would have been able to hold the corner quite easily. But luckily for both of them, they didn't end up too bad. Now the battle we're focusing on is between Civilotti and Searley. And Searley's going to have a good run down the Conrod straight. This is where the slipstream is going to pay advantage to Searley. And we saw there Civilotti dipping a wheel onto the grass, and here we go. What can Searley do? We can't even see the cars, cameraman. Look up. There we go. And Searley looking for a move down the inside here. Oh, there's been contact between the two, and they are facing the wrong way here. Once again, maybe a bit of an opportunistic move there from Searley, and that is Civilotti flying across the track backwards. Is he into the barriers? No, he's into the gravel. There's quite a lot of runoff there. But down towards P11 he goes, and he's lost a position now to Hoorn as well. But I think Searley could have been a bit too opportunistic there for him, and maybe even Civilotti not leaving enough room. And now in fact Dave has got past, but like we said earlier, he's a lapped car and he may have to make way for the lead cars here. But it looks like even on the back of Kaufman now, so yes, repaired that damage, and he's back out on track, which is good to see. And he's gonna look for a move, backs out of it though, thinks better of it, and all gets the rear out there through the penultimate corner. You can see that the race leader Fisher has put a lap on Kaufman. Jack says, "Who goes Dave?" Unlapping himself. He's still got to get round, and I don't think there's enough time in the race left to do that. Where can Ivanov get this move done? Into the mountain section we go. It's not going to be easy for him to do it here. So Ivanov still unable to get past. But actually, looking at the replay now, Ivanov had a couple scares on a lap where he picked up a lot of damage. And we'll take a look now. So coming up towards Skyline here, gets the rear out, takes a bit of curb, and heavy damage there from Ivanov. And now down towards Skyline, we'll see him make another mistake. And actually it was through Forrest's elbow where he made the other mistake. And looks like Ivanov down the inside there. He's going to have that move done. Look, late in the brakes, and he got the rear out. And no, they are still side by side, but there we go. That's where he picked up lots of damage. Still side by side from these two. And actually no, Ivanov up ahead as we approach the final corner. Just been able to get that move done. Kaufman did not make that one easy whatsoever. Up towards P8 now. Vistero closing the gap towards Den. Thomas still unable to get past Vining. That gap going up towards a second, coming down towards a few tenths, and then back up towards a second. So a bit of inconsistency there maybe for Thomas. And let's see what Fisterol does this lap. Bit of oversteer on the final corner. At this lap, Fisterol has done a 1 minute, a 2 minute 201.9. Patrick Den was a 201.8, so slightly quicker that last time around. Fitzgerald's going to need something special here to close that gap to Den and then get past him as well. Den's going to be looking in his rearview mirror now, paying attention to where Fitzgerald is on the track. In fact, he's gained 3/10 there through turn 2. And he's now closing that gap, pushing the car a bit harder here to catch up to Den, which is what he needs to do. He's got to take a few more risks if he wants to get past Den with just 5 minutes on the clock. Jack saying in his eyes, Dave has done a great job. Yeah, he has, especially to keep it out on track. And Kaufman into the pits. Has Kaufman lost the car? Kaufman, he has. Oh no, Kaufman's made an error as well. And looks like it may have been into Skyline. No, it wasn't into Skyline, so it may have been through. Oh no, I've just seen where he's lost the car. It's through Forest Elbow. Once again, it's such a difficult corner for the drivers. Downhill braking, as we said before. And if you get the rear out, if you brake while turning there, it looks like, oh, that's a huge hit there. Looks like Kaufman just forgot to brake, forgot which pedal was which. And that's where he got the heavy damage, and a close call there for Davini as well. Here we go, Fitzgerald is right on the back of Den now. And in fact, Dave may be able to gain a position after that. And yes, he does. Up into P13 goes Dave. And here we go, side by side between Fitzgerald and Den. Can Fitzgerald get it done around the outside? He's going to try it the long way around, but the camber of the corner isn't going to allow him to do so. And there we go. Den holds on to P7. Let's see if we can get an onboard of, I think Thomas with a bit of oversteer on the exit of Forest Elbow. I've just seen that on our secondary screen. Onboard there with Fitzgerald. Then he's now pulled away slightly once again. That gap has opened up between the two, then putting on a good fight here in the last couple laps, I believe. Yeah, we've got one more lap after this. Race leader Fisher has led from the start. I'm not going to say finish just yet, because anything can happen here. But no one has been able to touch Fisher this race. Been out in the lead, and not even Savini could get close. Fitzgerald really needs to start pushing the car even harder to close that gap once again. All that work undone just because of a mistake there from himself. And any unsuccessful move that Fitzgerald makes, any unsuccessful overtake, is going to cost him even more time here. He needs to be precise, and he needs to be committed to going for a move here on Den. But first, he needs to get close enough to do that. But here we go, Fisher onto the final lap of the race now. And where is Fitzgerald? Where is Den? Coming up towards Skyline. Fitzgerald's closed that gap once more. Oh, Cicero hitting the barrier on the exit of Forest Elbow there. Once again, another mistake for him. It's not going to allow him to get as close as he would have liked. And where is our race leader? Still got a bit to go till the end of the lap. About a minute to go still. But Den and Fisto haven't been lapped by the leader, so they've got one more lap to go here. Den really holding on to his position. And he's lapping quite consistently as well. He's doing that last lap of 201.9. Fisto, though, 2 tenths quicker that last lap. He's going to need more than that, like I said, to really close up to the Den. He's going to need to get past as well. Let's have a look at our race leader, Fisher, approaching the final corner for a dominant victory here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. And there we go, crossing the line in P1 to take the checkered flag. Savini is coming up towards the final corner, and he's going to finish in P2 here. There we go, P2 for Savini. Hasn't lost too many points in the championship, but Fisher inches 6 points closer to the championship leader, Savini. And there we go, Demori with a podium, finishing P3 here. Much better finish than last round, I believe, for Demori. Vining's going to hold on to P4 here as he rounds the final corner. Oh, he approaches the final corner now. Thomas down in P5. There we go, Vining in P4. Thomas in P5, unable to get past. Pagano is going to cross the line in P6, Den in P7, Fisterol P8, Sealy P9, Retinor in P10, Civolotti P11, Ivanov P12, Dave in P13, and Kaufman in P14. Actually, will Den be able to hold on? I think he will be. Yes, he will. There we have it. We will see if we can get some interviews from the drivers after they've done their podium, of course, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. So time for some interviews then with the top 3 of the race. Let's bring in more in just a moment, but let's quickly take one last look at the standings coming into this round. So it is Savini on Savini on 515 points and Fisher on 487. Now, like we said, I think Fisher's going to need a bad result from Savini to be able to take the win here. They've both got their drop rounds as a round where they did not show. But let's have a look now. So let's bring in Demori. So here we go. Brilliant race there from you. Was able to hold on to P3 for pretty much the entire race. Much better result than last time out. I believe you finished P10. So yeah, podium for you, and I think your second podium in this championship. So I'm sure you're going to be happy with that result.
Yes, I'm very happy to be back on the podium. I made a few mistakes the last few races, but this one, I think I did a really good job, and I was concentrating all race to do consistent lap times, and yeah, I'm happy it worked out again.
Yeah, it's good to see. And currently P6 in the championship, so quite high up. Podium's going to bring you, I think, even closer. You could actually have a good chance of a top 5 finish here in this championship. I think well, next round is the last round, so you're going to need possibly quite a good result there as well. Next round being Indianapolis. How are you feeling going into the last round?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I haven't done a lot of practice at Indianapolis before. But I think in terms of the championship, it's going to be pretty close. As for who gets the 3rd spot, because I think Ivanov had a bad race this time.
Yep, he did.
And Civilotti, I don't know, but it's pretty close between us. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting finale.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And going to be all down to the wire. So
yeah, for sure.
Have you got any pressure going into the last round, or have you dealt with this before?
No, not really any pressure. You know, I'm out of the battle for the win either way, so I'm just gonna enjoy it and do the best I can for the last race.
Yeah, lovely to hear. So congrats again on the podium, and we will see you for the final round at Indianapolis.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care. So let's bring in Savini now as well. There we go. We've got Savini and P2 for you. Quite a reserved race. Not really that much went on, but it seems like in race pace, in race trim, that Porsche just wasn't able to keep up with the BMW of Fischer.
Yeah, I think in this round I just try to score more points, like as much as points as possible. Was tough because, of course, this is not an easy track, and also I didn't train so much, so you know it's a tough combo when you don't train as much as you want and you have a really tough track. It's pretty hard, and I think I did pretty good in quali, but for the race pace, I literally wasn't there. But it's fine. I think I'm still first in the championship by 21 points, so
yep.
It's coming all to the last round, which I think Indianapolis is pretty good for the Porsche. So I don't know about the BMW, but we'll see. I will try to take as low risk. I will try to have a low risk race and try to get this championship.
Yeah, I mean, even if you finish P2 behind Fischer, you've still won the championship. So, like you said,
it will be pretty nice.
Yeah.
I've never driven in Indianapolis, so I will need to train, and I will also try to train a bit more than I did here in Bathurst, because yeah, it was pretty tough, and I don't want to risk it all in the last round. So
Yeah,
which are our best?
Yeah, you want to be comfortable going into the last round. So yeah, I mean, congrats on P2 anyways. And we look forward to seeing what you can do in the final round at Indianapolis.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Congrats, and we'll see you next round.
See you next time.
So there we have it. We've got one more driver to interview here. We've got Fisher with a dominant victory at Bathurst. Not much that Savini could do to keep up with you. I mean, you pulled away, I mean, what was the gap? About 18, 19, maybe even 20 seconds towards the end?
It was more like 16, but yeah, I mean, the car is just ridiculously fast here, so
Yeah.
it would be a shame if I didn't win. So yeah, it was good. Good to get a win back, but the gap I just heard is 20 or 21 points.
21, yep. You're gonna need something special.
I need more than just good driving at how's it called? At Indianapolis to win this. Because I mean, Zolder and Silverstone was just a huge pain in the ass. But you know, we're gonna try. I'm gonna sweat it. I heard Savini never really drove the track before, so you know, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you're gonna need to possibly rely on either him having an accident or maybe the other drivers on the grid putting a gap between you and him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it my all. You know, it could be exciting. I hope, but yeah, you know, I'm not looking forward to having a P2 trophy on my desk. So,
but yeah, you gotta give it all, like you said, and hope for the best. But once again, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
And we will see you for the last round at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and take care.
Later. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So there we have it, ladies and gents. That's pretty much it for this round. We'll be back live on Tuesday for the final round of the Next Level Racing Championship, and that is at Snetterton. That's another difficult track for the majority of drivers, but from us, it's good night, and we'll see you then.